When her message came through, it didn't sting. It relieved me. I've been thinking, maybe we should split up. I stared at the screen, not wounded, not shocked, just unburdened. 31 years old, mid-morning, sitting at my workstation reviewing financial summaries, coffee cooling beside me. The message felt less like a breakup and more like permission. She'd done this before. Every few weeks like clockwork, whenever I didn't comply with whatever demand she'd just made. Miss a coworker's backyard barbecue on a Thursday? Threaten the relationship. Refuse to buy a designer necklace she saw online? Hint at needing space. Cancel a weekend trip because I had work? Cue the emotional ultimatum. This was her favorite lever. So this time, I decided not to flinch. I agree, I typed. Your belongings will be on the front steps in 60 minutes. The typing indicator appeared instantly, then vanished, then appeared again, then the flood. Wait, what? I was joking. I was just annoyed. Call me. This isn't funny. I was testing you. There it was, the confession. Testing me. I muted my phone and stood up, not to return to work, but to pack. She'd never officially moved in. No lease, no paperwork, just a gradual invasion disguised as convenience. One drawer became one shelf became half the closet. Then suddenly her presence was everywhere and my space felt negotiated. Bathroom first. 17 different conditioners, sheet masks stacked like playing cards, an expensive flat iron she used twice. The medicine cabinet looked empty without her clutter, and that alone told me everything. Bedroom. Clothes she left here just in case. Jewelry organizer on my nightstand. Decorative pillows that served no purpose except sabotaging sleep. A faux succulent she swore elevated the aesthetic. Living room. Yoga mat. Coffee table books she never read but arranged for Instagram. A throw blanket that matched the palette but felt like burlap. A framed photo of us at her cousin's wedding. She looked radiant, I looked trapped. Kitchen. Artisanal tea sachets. A juicer used exactly twice. Stemware for wine she drank only for photos. The air fryer she begged for, fired up once, then complained about counter space. 45 minutes later, everything was boxed, labeled, and stacked. 6 cartons, 3 trash bags. Efficient, final. My phone was apocalyptic. Missed calls, voicemails, paragraphs stacking faster than I could scroll. I didn't read them. I carried the boxes outside, lined them neatly on the front steps, and took a photo. Everything's outside, I texted. Please retrieve within 2 hours or it goes curbside for charity pickup. You can't do this, she replied. I pay rent. She didn't. She contributed groceries twice in 6 months. That was it. I'm coming over, she wrote. We're talking. No, you're collecting your things. 20 minutes later, her car skidded into the driveway. She was out before it stopped rolling, mascara already streaking. She pounded on the door, screaming through the doorbell cam. This is unhinged. Your items are outside, I said calmly through the speaker. Please take them and leave. I'm not leaving until we talk. Then I'll call the police for trespassing. Your call. She hurled the nearest box at the door, then collapsed onto the steps and dialed her mom on speaker. Honey, what's happening? Her mother asked. He's evicting me over a text. What did the text say? Silence. I might have suggested splitting up, she admitted, but I was kidding. Even through the phone, the quiet was heavy. What did you do? Her mother asked. It was a test to see if he'd fight for me. A long exhale. Come home, her mom said. We'll sort this. That should have been the end. It wasn't. 3 days later, the escalation began. Day 1, denial. Day 2, rage. Day 3, negotiation dressed as panic. At 2 a.m., my phone lit up. I'm late. Late for what? I replied. My cycle. I might be pregnant. Fascinating. She'd been on the pill for years. We hadn't been intimate in weeks because she'd labeled me emotionally distant. Take a test, I said. If it's positive, we'll handle it through attorneys. Silence. No pregnancy. Then came the online performance, a tear-streaked selfie, a caption about being discarded after 2 years over a misunderstanding. Her friends rallied instantly. Man or trash, you deserve better, his loss. Until my friend Marco commented, "Didn't you dump him?" The post vanished within an hour. Next, she accused me of withholding property, a necklace, a charger, sentimental items that mysteriously didn't exist until now. "I have camera footage," I replied. "Cease." That's when she crossed into sabotage. She called my workplace pretending to be my dentist with emergency results. The reception patched the call through. I recognized her voice immediately. "Impersonating medical personnel is illegal. This is harassment. I just needed to reach you. Next contact goes through lawyers." She hung up. But the entitlement hadn't peaked yet. That was still coming. And it would be spectacular. As matches stretch deeper into their later stages, when fatigue begins to blur decision-making and structure starts to fray, Antoine Dupont's influence often becomes even more pronounced, not through loud actions, but through quieter control. Where others show the strain of sustained intensity, he appears increasingly settled, as though the game slows as bodies tire. This is most evident in his defensive work, an area that has come to define his completeness as a player. Dupont does not defend recklessly or emotionally. Instead, he selects his moments with precision, understanding that one well-timed intervention can shift momentum more decisively than a series of routine tackles. He tracks back instinctively, closes space with efficiency, and meets contact with a low, compact strength that belies his size, often halting runners who appear to have clear momentum. These moments rarely make highlight reels, yet they form the backbone of his authority on the field, reinforcing the sense that no phase exists without his presence. His relationship with pressure is particularly revealing in knockout rugby, where the stakes are highest and the margins narrow still further. In these matches, Dupont's decision-making grows even more conservative and more ruthless at the same time, choosing security over spectacle when required, then striking decisively when opportunity presents itself. He understands that dominance does not always announce itself immediately. Sometimes it accumulates quietly, built phase by phase, until the opposition no longer realizes how control has slipped away. This patience reflects a maturity that extends beyond individual brilliance and into leadership, where influence is measured not by volume but by trust. Teammates look to Dupont not for instruction but for reassurance, drawing calm from his posture and rhythm, confident that clarity will emerge from uncertainty. His communication, often subtle and understated, reinforces this effect, gestures and glances replacing shouted commands, allowing the game to breathe while still remaining firmly guided. In open play, his support lines continue to demonstrate a rare understanding of anticipation, arriving not where the ball is currently, but where it will need to be moments later, ensuring continuity even when phases become fractured. This foresight allows attacks to remain fluid under pressure, transforming broken play into opportunity and turning defensive scramble into controlled progression. As the match clock winds down, Dupont's management of tempo becomes increasingly deliberate, recognizing when territory matters more than possession, when risk must be minimized, and when a single decisive action can close the contest. His kicking game, often understated in discussions of his skill set, reflects this balance, used not as an escape, but as a calculated repositioning of pressure, forcing opponents to reset and reconsider their options. These decisions rarely draw applause, yet they are fundamental to winning at the highest level, where emotional control often determines outcome more reliably than raw athleticism. In 2025, Dupont's evolution is most evident in this restraint, a willingness to trust structure and patience rather than chase personal imprint. It is this discipline that cements his role not just as a playmaker, but as a steward of the game itself,
someone who understands that rugby is not won in moments of chaos, but in the management of them. Observing his performances across a season reveals patterns that only become clear in hindsight: how early choices influence later opportunities, how defensive pressure applied in the opening quarter yields attacking space in the final minutes. Dupont operates with this long view, shaping contests across time rather than chasing immediate reward. When the final whistle sounds, the scoreboard may capture the result, but it cannot fully reflect the accumulation of decisions that led there, the small adjustments and calm interventions that defined the match's trajectory. In this sense, Antoine Dupont's greatness in 2025 is not confined to any single try, pass, or turnover, but exists in the sustained coherence he brings to an inherently chaotic sport. He does not dominate by overwhelming opponents, but by outlasting them mentally, maintaining clarity where others lose it. As rugby continues to evolve, becoming ever more physical and complex, players like Dupont offer a reminder that the essence of mastery lies not in control through force, but in understanding. And in watching him guide games to their conclusions with measured authority, it becomes clear that his legacy is being written not in highlights, but in balance, between speed and patience, ambition and restraint, instinct and intellect. A balance that in 2025 places Antoine Dupont firmly among the defining figures of the modern era.